Hey, gang. Wanted to talk to you about slavery. And slavery is always such a bad word. It's a kind of a disgusting word almost because we as Americans think right back to the Civil War and earlier. And then, of course, as you read through the Bible and you read through history, and even now, there's still slavery. Um, and I don't think anyone would disagree with us that it's horrible. Who should be enslaved to anything? Um, and if that is the case, which I believe it is, then why are we so enslaved to sin? And I say we because all of us are sinners. We know that. In 2 Peter 2:19, this section is actually talking about false teachers, false prophets, things like that. But there's part of the scripture really speaks to me, and it should speak to all of us because in 2:19, 2 Peter 2:19, it says here, they promise freedom, but they themselves are slaves of sin and corruption. For you are a slave to whatever controls you. And so when I think of that, I think about all the things that we depend on, even though we shouldn't. We depend on our phones and electronics. We depend on making sure I have that whatever food that we just got to have it every single day. And then, next thing you know, we start putting on weight. We depend on that alcohol, which, and drugs and whatever else. I mean, it gets to a point where we are out of control and we want to do better, but we continue to sin. And then because we get hooked in and we think we can't live without it. And we don't know any other way. And you may even take a moment and say, okay, I'm going to go on this diet, and you feel really good about it. I'm guilty of this. This is why I can relate to this. And I'm going to I'm going to cut out all my soft drinks, which, blah, 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 blah. That's a really good thing to cut out. It's waste of calories. It's sugar. It's not good for you, right? And so, yep, I can do this. I can do this. And then all of a sudden you have this weak moment and somebody's, having a Mountain Dew or whatever. And then you got to have it. So, and you fail and you fall to sin. So in 2 Peter 2:22, and this also refers back to a couple of the Proverbs. It says, they prove the truth of this proverb. A dog returns to its own vomit. And another says, a washed pig returns to the mud. And that's exactly what we do. We want to do so good. And I think we make valiant attempts to change our lives. And yet we fall short. In Romans 7:23, we go talk here, it says, but there is another power within me that is at war with my mind. The power makes me a slave to the sin that is still within me. And man, just think about that. And like I said, you can put whatever thing that you have the biggest problem with. Food is my biggest problem. And I think about it. I think about that dog that returns to its own vomit. That's the way I feel. I'm so dumb sometimes. I work out hard at the gym, and then I'll eat something that's like completely undoes it, and I want to be able to enjoy myself, but at the same time, what am I doing? Why can I not just stay free, And I want to be free. God says we're free. That's the reason He sent His Son to die for us, for our freedom, and yet we still fall slave to the sin. And in Romans 6:6. This is the last one I'll read to you. It says, we know that our old sinful selves were crucified with Christ so that sin might lose its power in our lives. We are no longer slaves to sin. And I think if we focus on that, Romans 6:6, and realize that we don't have to be slave to that sin. We don't have to be slave to that alcohol or that other drink or whatever, or that drug fix or that food fix or the technology fix or Xbox or you name it. We don't have to be enslaved to that, and it's a struggle for me. It's a struggle for lots of people, and I think if I can continue, I'm going to keep this highlighted so I can keep working at it and try to get better. And maybe I'll I'll shed a few pounds and become a healthier bread. But either way, if you're having problems with addiction or something like that, feel free to reach out to me. I can absolutely, we can read through this book here, and we can find all kind of reasons to let you know that you're better than you think you are, you're stronger than you think you are, and of course, you no longer have to be enslaved to that sin. So, all right, have a good day.